All right, in this lesson, we're going to look at slope. So we're just going to be counting slope in a graph, and we're also going to go over the slope formula. So when you have a graph, you're looking for the vertical change over the horizontal change. We called that rise over run because that's the change in y over the change in x. These are all different ways to describe slope. So let's look at the first one. You pick a point and you start at it. Let's start at -1, 3. I usually like to start over here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to start at -1, 3, and I'm going to go up. Oh, it's up 2 boxes, but it's not actually 2. If you look at the scale, this scale is actually going by 3s. So even though it's up 2 boxes, it's actually up 6, and you can see that by the numbers. Then if you look at the x-axis, it's going by 1s, so that's fine. I can just count boxes. 1, 2, 3. So the slope is 6 over 3, which is 2 over 1, or better yet, the number 2. Now I know my slope is positive because this is what positive lines look like, so I should have a positive answer. Spoiler alert, this next one is negative because this is what negative lines look like, so I know my final answer should be a negative number. So I'm going to start over here at -3, -2, and my scales are going by 1s, you can see on the axes, so I can just count boxes. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. That's -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's my fraction, and you should reduce it to -2/3. Don't turn it into a decimal or a mixed number or anything like that, but if you have a fraction and it doesn't go in evenly, you leave it, but you should always reduce. All right, let's check out numbers 3 and 4. Now, number 3 is a horizontal line. And if you don't remember what horizontal lines have a slope of, let's just review. So I'm going to start by starting at this point right here. And I don't actually have to move up and down at all, because all I have to do is move to the right 4. So my vertical change was 0. My horizontal change was 4. So you can say 0 over 4 if you're like beginner level, but the better answer is 0, is the number 0. And you should remember, if you don't, here's a memory, that when we did slope, we said horizontal lines have a 0 slope. Let's look at number 4. In number 4, I'll start down here at the bottom, and I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 5 vertical number. But now I'm at my answer, so I don't need to move at all. So it's 5 over 0. And if anything divided by 0 is undefined, if you type that in your calculator, you will get an undefined error, an error message. And you can also write no slope. When we did slope back in chapter 4, we said vertical lines have an undefined slope or no slope. All right, let's move on and let's look at the slope formula. So in order to do these down at the bottom, we have to use our slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's the formula for slope. Remember, in a coordinate point, it goes x comma y. So the first thing I always do is I label. So this 3 represents an x value from point 1, and the 8 represents the y value from point 1. I'm just labeling it point 1, point 2. -2 is the x value from point 2, and 8 is the y value from point 2. Sorry, that's a little messy. So now I just go in and I plug it into my formula. So y2 is 8, so I'm going to write 8 minus, because that's part of the formula. Y1 is also 8, so it's being 8 minus 8. And now I go to the denominator. X2 is negative 2 minus X1 is 3. So I get 0 over negative 5. Well, anything over 0 is just the number 0. All right, let's look at number 6. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I plug it into my formula. Negative 3 minus 3 over 6 minus 4. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6, and 6 minus 4 is 2. That's okay, but you should reduce it to the better answer of negative 3. All right, last one. x1, y1, x2, y2. So now I plug it in my formula. 0 minus 0 over negative 5 minus negative 1. I'm just going to turn that to say plus 1 instead of minus negative. So 0 over 0, 0 minus 0 is just 0. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. And so that, just like number 5, reduces to the number 0.